Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles.
I'm Jim Hughes, and coming up on this edition of Oxford News This Week, the DDA, Downtown Improvements for Summer Fun, yes, kicking off, and a new kid in town.
All that and more. The Oxford News begins right now. The Oxford Downtown Development Authority is moving forward with nearly $16,000 in downtown improvement projects, including new planters at the Four Corners, tree trimming for the downtown trees, and restoration of benches and trash cans at Centennial Park. Costs will be shared with the Village of Oxford. Jim?
Along with that theme, the DDA also announced an opening on the board following the departure of Jake O'Brien. He said the seat must be filled by a resident within the DDA district. Bidding is also underway for renaming the gazebo while working at Centennial, remaining work in the gazebo, not renaming it, at Centennial Park, while bids for downtown skyline lighting is still open. That open until May 28th. Terry.
The Oxford Village Council has adopted its 2026-2027 budget, keeping the millage rate at 11.12 mils and projecting more than $3 million in revenues and expenditures. Nearly $1.7 million is expected from property taxes, with police services making up the largest expense at more than $1.3 million, and we like those guys around, so I'm glad we're paying that. Jim?
In community news, the Oxford Women's Club awarding nearly $14,000 in scholarships to 9 local students. The group has now contributed more than $200,000 over the past 26 years. I tell you, they're very helpful. Terry?
In the township news, the Cruising Down Seymour Classic Car Cruise returns Saturday, June 6th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., kicking off the Seymour Celebration Weekend. The cruise runs from East Burdick Street to Seymour Lake Township Park and features classic cars, music, food, raffles, and a bicycle show. And that food is yummy. Jim?
That event actually supports the Oxford Community Garden and will lead into a 4-day carnival running June 4th through June 7th, ending with the fireworks display. If you'd like more information on how you can be part of the celebration, go to oxfordparkrec.org. A Dad, Me, and Ice Cream event is also slated for June 11th at the Seymour Lake Park, with the pre-registration obviously required. Terry.
That garden continues to grow, producing more than 2,000 pounds of food the first year to support local families, Meals on Wheels, and other programs. Volunteers are still needed, so please contact the Oxford Parks and Recreation Department for more information. Jim?
After more than 3 years, Oakland County Sheriff Sergeant Rick Meza is actually leaving the Oxford Township substation to take another command in Addison Township. He will be missed. Again, we thank him for his service here in Oxford. Terry.
Construction is underway on the new Aldi grocery store on Market Street west of M24. The questions should be directed about that establishment to the Township Building Department. Also, the Northeast Oakland Historical Museum is celebrating new signage funded in part by the DDA grant program. Jim?
Community members also gathered at Seymour Lake Township Park to plant flowers at the Hannah St. Juliana Memorial Garden, honoring the 4 Oxford school students we lost in 2021. And the Oxford High School Baseball also hosted a First Responders Appreciation Game, recognizing local firefighters and police officers. Terry?
And in our last story, it's a little bit beyond our borders, but it doesn't hurt to be aware of what's going on around you. Oakland County investigators say a violent Orion Township carjacking may be linked to a Detroit shooting. Authorities say the suspect allegedly shot a woman during a carjacking and leading a police chase. The investigators are now exploring possible connections between multiple cases. Officials remind residents to stay alert, lock your vehicles, and avoid confrontation if threatened, calling 911 immediately and reporting details when you are safe. Isn't that something that happened here in our area anyhow?
It's outside our door. I mean, I tell you, it's everywhere. I mean, not that this is related to a carjacking. I don't even that just scares me. But again, and you know, a lot of the phone things are going on, phone scams.
Yeah, scams.
And you know, we caught one. We caught one, and you know, my family was a little bit touched by that, but we caught it ahead of time. But there's a lot of folks that don't catch that, and you know, you hear about these older people that maybe lose some money during that thing, and it's just terrible. And I know Sheriff Bouchard really stresses there's a lot of stuff on that Oakland County website on how you can avoid this stuff.
Yep.
And you know, maybe you know, older people don't have somebody that can, you know, be the benchmark to help out with that. So I tell you, there's just a lot of scammers out there. They figure different ways to get the money.
Oh, I know.
And they're smarter than the people trying to prevent you from getting the money.
We lost quite a bit of money to a scammer that got
you?
my husband, yep. But there, like Jim mentioned, there is a lot of really good information on the Oakland County website. In fact, when I was doing this story, when I was putting this story together about the hijacking, there was probably 3 pages of how to protect yourself if there's a hijacking.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, go to the website. Just type in Oakland County website.
One more addendum to that too, with you know, with the scammers and all that, is that you know, you do have resources, like I said, you know, what you were saying, the website and such. I do this, and this is not even scamming. Like I hate to say this, you know, we tell them not to get streamers, but on a lot of my bills, I'll put it on like one card.
Yeah.
Where it's like only a $300 limit, so the best you're going to get me for is $300.
Right.
And that can be for anybody. So. Anyways, we got to take a break here. We know he's ready because he has his tie and his jacket on. It's Dave Kenny, right? Stay tuned. Dave Kenny has Auto Talk, Science, and the News. Coming up, Terry Stiles is going to have a very special in our Behind the Lens segment. You're going to be touched by it. It's coming up next right here on OCTV.
In today's digital world, it's hard to know who to trust. Your local TV and radio stations bring you the facts. Misinformation and deep fakes flood social media, but broadcasters deliver verified and accurate news. For news, emergency updates, sports, and entertainment, turn to your local stations. Text TV to 52886 and urge Congress to support the vital local journalism broadcasters provide.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, Volkswagen of America will soon have a manual transmission-free lineup. Sorry, guys. The sporty Jetta GLI compact sedan will no longer be offered with a 6-speed manual transmission, a VW spokesman confirmed. Only the 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission will be available for the 2027 model year. The Jetta GLI was the last remaining VW in the U.S. lineup with a manual transmission after the automaker dropped the manual transmission on the Golf GTI and Golf R Hot Hatch Duo for the 2025 model year. VW said the company's North American region worked hard to offer a manual transmission. We know it matters to a small but passionate group of drivers who love being fully engaged and rowing their own gears, VW said in a statement. Even so, global demand continued to narrow to a point where the market can no longer sustain it. As much as it hurts, that really meant making some tough choices. VW refreshed the Jetta and Jetta GLI for the 2025 model year and kept the manual transmission available. U.S. sales of the Jetta totaled 11,565 in the first quarter. That's down 35% after falling 24% to 54,291 in 2025. A VW spokesman said GLI sales with manual transmissions tallied about 2,000 in 2025, or 3.9% of all Jetta deliveries. VW builds the Jetta alongside the Taos subcompact and Tiguan compact crossover in Mexico. Manual transmissions, a prized feature by enthusiasts, have largely disappeared from U.S. showrooms outside of low-volume, sporty, premium, or exotic models. Sorry about that. In our next story, Mercedes-Benz, on the heels of freshening the venerable S-Class, has followed suit with the EQS electric large sedan. The 2027 EQS gains an updated electric architecture with 800-volt technology, new electric drive units, and a larger battery. It is also equipped with the Mercedes-Benz operating system. Mercedes says around a quarter of all the components of the latest EQS are newly developed, updated, or refined. The 800-volt technology allows the EQS to achieve a DC charging capacity of up to 350 kilowatts. Mercedes says up to 199 miles of range, based on the WLTP scale, can be recharged in as little as 10 minutes. The EQS has a range of 575 miles with the WLTP scale. The battery in the EQS now has a usable capacity of 122 kilowatt hours. The cells feature anodes in which silicon oxide is blended with graphite that Mercedes says allows for more energy to be stored per kilogram. An optional steer-by-wire system is also new with the update. Mercedes CEO Ola Kalenius called the technology, which replaces traditional mechanical linkages with electronic signals that control steering through a cable or wire, an absolute game changer in 2025. The EQS is the first production vehicle from a German automaker to utilize steer-by-wire, Mercedes says. Mercedes updated the EQS, that is, for the 2025 model year, and it was launched in 2021. The refreshed EQS will arrive at U.S. dealerships in the second half of 2026. Pricing was not yet announced, but you can guess. The updated EQS will launch ahead of multiple new EVs from the automaker in the next 3 years, including a trio of AMG performance models and zero-emission variants of the GLC crossover and E-Class sedans. Mercedes-Benz USA CEO Adam Chamberlain said that bailing out of EVs is not an option given the stringent government mandates the automaker has to comply with overseas. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Back with you on Oxford News this week. Exciting news from Oxford Athletics as, again, a lot of the sports wrapping up for the school year. It comes by and goes by so fast. The baseball team secured a fantastic 11-4 victory against Holly in that pre-district game. Next up, they'll face Lapeer. We'll have the results on our next broadcast. Again, that'll take place in Grand Blanc at the district semifinals. Go Oxford in baseball. Also, girls softball wrapped up their regular season with a 13-4 win over Memphis, finishing a 17-16 record. They're all set to postseason play and will be playing against Waterford Kettering at Clarkston High School. That'll be again next Saturday. We'll have that on our next broadcast. Boys lacrosse, although the team season concluded with a loss at 16-5 against Heartland in regional championship game, they have a remarkable season, finishing at 14-6, clinching the OAA White League Championship for a second year in a row. Great news from the girls soccer team as well. Again, World Cup coming. Soccer is going to be popular, and the ladies making that possible. They secured a 4-0 victory over Davison in the district final, adding another shutout to their record. They said they're set to face again Clarkston at the championships in Grand Blanc. That'll take place on Friday, and as I said before, it'll be on next broadcast. On the lighter side, we go to the professional football arena. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence's new haircut has made quite a splash in the sports world, turning into national headlines. It's a fun distraction from what the usual news we've been getting. That wraps it up in sports. Dave Kenny's got one more segment. Terry's got a very special Behind the Lens coming up on Oxford News this week. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. With jaws like these, who needs big arms? The new analysis suggests dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus rex had shrunken forelimbs because their massive, powerful heads became their primary tool for killing large prey, rendering their arms redundant. It's an evolutionary approach that 5 different lineages of large theropod dinosaurs took independently. Researchers are well aware that a number of large predatory theropods followed a trend towards bigger bodies, bigger heads, and smaller, shorter arms over time. But it wasn't known why this pattern repeated across multiple predatory dinosaurs families scattered across the globe and separated by many millions of years, says Charlie Shearer at University College in London. There was also little understanding of how the bones in their ever heftier skulls changed as their arms became proportionately smaller. The paper tackles one of the big evolutionary questions in theropod dinosaurs, says Andre Rowe at the University of Bristol, who wasn't involved in the research. Shearer and his colleagues compiled data on the proportions of the forelimbs and skulls of 85 theropod species along with body mass data. This allowed them to calculate ratio between the skull dimensions and forelimb lengths, quantifying just how small the arms were compared with the head. The researchers then compared this ratio with other measurements of the dinosaur's body, along with a measure of the skull's strength based on factors such as bite force and skull rigidity. The team found that skull durability was associated with smaller arms, regardless of where the species sat in the theropod evolutionary tree. If it's a predatory theropod and has a very robust skull, it most likely will have relatively small forelimbs, says Shearer. The researchers found this head-arm divergence evolved independently in 5 theropod groups: Tyrannosaurids, the short-snouted albilosaurids, the knife-toothed Carcharodontosaurids, Ceratosaurids, and Megalosaurids. The evolutionary pattern hadn't been identified in the last 2 groups until this study, points out Fian Wasson Ma at the Benpiao Pterosaur Museum in China, who wasn't involved in the research. This shows how hidden evolutionary signals can be revealed when traits are quantified this way, she says. The findings provide clues as to why the dinosaurs' arms kept shrinking. The predators' increasing skull strength and body size coincided with the rising mass of their quarries. The theropods evolved huge, sturdy skulls for subduing their large, difficult-to-control prey. Their heads were clearly doing the majority of the work, says Shearer, reducing the need for strong, grappling arms. Nature doesn't like having everything all at once, he says. A big, powerful head plus strong forelimbs would require a lot of energy to maintain. This creates a trade-off between jaws and claws. Other theropods, like the Megaraptorans and Spinosaurs, have very large predators, but they took the opposite route to dinosaurs like T-Rex, coupling long arms with slender skulls. Rowe was curious about the mechanical function of the jaw-centric theropod's arms, even in their shortened state. Yes, Tyrannosaurus had tiny vestigial arms, but that doesn't necessarily mean they were completely useless, he says. It reminds me of why I fell in love with dinosaurs in the first place, he says. They were some of the most innovative and successful animals to ever exist. Oh, by the way, until that big meteor struck. Anyhow, well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
And in our Behind the Lens segment, we knew him when. former staff member Andy Curtis recently received a Michigan Broadcaster of the Year award, and we got to talk to him after that award. Yeah, so if I recall correctly, you had a choice between Florida and Montana, wasn't it? And you
Well,
chose.
Montana actually was the only place that ever called me back. I sent out geez, endless resumes and demo reels. I would like drive up to Channel 12 in Flint and like knock on the door and drop off. I had a packet with DVDs of my work that I did with you guys and a resume and go to job fairs. And the only place that I got an actual interview with was KTVH NBC in Montana, Helena, Montana.
And so you did, you started out there doing sports, or or was it on the street?
Yeah, it was a reporter producer job, and the station was so small. It was, you just get in the door and then you did everything. And then I kind of worked my way into sports, and then from sports worked my way back into anchoring / doing weather and everything else that we needed to do to actually have a show.
Well, and speaking of that, then you also had your own show, right? It was an outdoor. What was that all about?
It was called MTN Outdoors. It was a weekly half-hour show that I would host, produce, edit, shoot, everything. And it was basically, since in Montana we had so many outdoor-focused stories, that every week I had enough content from our reporters across the state to put together the best outdoor stories, whether it be about hunting or bear safety or wildfires or ag stories, agricultural stories.
Yeah.
Produce it, put it together, and then I'd act as the host. I'd go out and shoot the stand-ups. I kind of connect everything together for the half-hour show.
So really, getting a start at a small station like this one, a PEG station, where you do wear many hats, no pun intended, because I have one of your hats, it helped you along the way. And then you went from this one to another station that you had to do everything. So you already had your feet wet a little bit.
Yeah, doing everything with you guys there in Oxford gave me a huge leg up on being able to do everything once you got into like the job markets and other stations
Right.
and states, and even more so now. It's no secret that things are thinning out a little bit, and the
Right.
more you do, the more hats you can wear, the better off you are.
Absolutely. So you did 2 stations in Montana. You were up for Emmys for your outdoor show, correct?
Yep.
And then which station were you at when you were up for Emmys there?
So KTVH, the station I started out with, I worked at for a while, then moved to our station in Bozeman, Montana, and did sports there,
Yeah.
KDK, then came back to the station I started at, KTVH, as the sports director, and then eventually moved around within the station a lot. But that second time around at KTVH in Helena was where I started doing the outdoor show.
Got it. And you were up for those Emmys. And
Yes.
so that's why we're talking to you today, because this past week, right? Was it like last Friday? You got the Michigan, what is it? The Michigan Broadcasting Association Award, correct? For your work. Okay, I skipped the part that you're back in Michigan, but you got that for your work in Michigan, and where at, and what are you doing?
Working at WXMI, Fox 17, another script station in Grand Rapids. Right now, I'm the morning reporter, and that's what I won the award for, was Market 2 Best Reporter here at the award show last week.
Bravo. We are so proud of you. It's unbelievable. We're happy to have you back home. You need to come and see our new studio. We don't have the old one anymore, but
Oh, wow. Great.
gosh, we tell your story all the time, Andy. Especially the one where I think I was making you do sports reporting at the desk, and you were very reluctant, didn't want to do it. And boy, once we got you in front of the camera, you just took off.
Well, I lack all other skills. I can't do anything else for a living, so I figure I might as well ham it up in front of a camera when I can.
You're doing a great job.
Thank
It's really fun to watch you, and we
Thanks,
haven't taken our eyes off of you
Well,
since you
a lot.
left. So welcome back. That was a fun interview. It was really fun to talk to Andy.
Very
He's had
special.
so many adventures.
Oh,
Since he
yeah, I
left
mean,
here.
amazing from the very hallowed halls of Oxford Community
Yeah,
Television. I
right.
mean, and again, we brag about those, and we've also brag about people, maybe they didn't go into video or whatever, but we've had,
Right.
I want to count 4 or 5 people.
Well, that if anybody came into our studio, the very wall in front of you
Yeah.
has all of our success stories, and I'd say 6 at least.
Yeah, and we've had a few
Have done really
come back
well. Mm-hmm.
and go on to another TV station. I
Yeah.
mean, Alexis is now administration in the city of Detroit,
Yeah.
media
Right.
relation.
Yeah.
We have Dave, Dave, I can't help you say his
Custer, Dave Custer.
You know, what
from
about Dave?
Flint.
What about the other Dave? I can't say his name all the time, but I
Yeah,
have a hard time
you
saying
put
his
me-
last name. But Dave did some football here, and he started here too. And like I said, our relevance really is based on success from those individuals and the other individuals that maybe they came here and did a program, or even the churches and stuff like that.
Dave Saseski, and he's
Yeah.
now a sports announcer, and he actually announces
The baseball games over at
and the Lions
USPBL.
games, and yeah, he's doing really well. So
That's good.
Yeah.
And one of our people that came through here, and
yeah,
I mean, I remember, you just said you interviewed Andy there, and
yeah, so fun.
when he came in the building, he was so timid, and I mean,
was quiet.
and he almost was wrangled into doing broadcasting then.
He really was. You kind of pushed him to do
I was sick.
sports for you.
Yeah.
And then I threw him at OCA, our community access. And well, actually, the very first, and we didn't talk about this, the very first thing I threw him at was Charlie Langton was
Right.
downtown.
Okay.
And I asked Charlie if he would let Andy do an interview with a pro. That way Andy could get over that fear or whatever he had.
Right.
And I remember Andy kind of looking at me going, no, no, no. And he did a great job with Charlie. And Charlie helped a lot too. That was
Nice,
really nice of
nice.
Charlie. And then after that, boy, you couldn't stop him. And we knew immediately, okay, we're going to lose Andy right away.
And I know
was
he's been
so
in a
great.
lot of states, and he's back in
Yeah.
Michigan, I guess, and he was
he
in
had
Montana
Emmys.
for a while.
He was in Montana and had his own show in Montana,
Yeah.
like a hunting show. And we're so proud of what we do here at OCTV. And Jim and I have talked about this before. Our funding is being threatened because people are going over to streaming.
Yeah.
And streamers, even though they're supposed to pay to use our rights away, communities have never asked them to pay.
Right.
So now they're trying to put a bill through that will state that they actually don't have to pay to
that's
use our
terrible.
rights away. So they will be using our property for rent-free
Right.
and selling their product to the residents in this community. So if it goes away,
We go
you
away.
residents are going to have to supplement whatever. In our community, no. But in other communities that don't have a television station, they use those funds, those rental fees for police, fire, roads,
Right.
everything. So I don't.
I mean, on the basis of the careers that were established here, the events that we do cover, and and sometimes we get looked at as a secondary, but the day we don't go is the day we get called to
Yeah.
say, why weren't you there?
Lots
So,
of calls.
anyways, Terry and I are going to be professing this until the lights go out.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that. So, anyways, we are going to wrap this one up for this edition of Oxford News this week. And Terry, OCTV can be available on Spectrum, Charter, Channel 191. They pay. ATT Uverse Channel 99.
They
pay. YouTube, we pay for that to do that. And Facebook, Rumble, Amazon Fire Stick. And the way I watch, and maybe I should pay, Roku. You have show ideas, feel free to contact our office, 248-628-9658. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week. I'm Jim Hughes. Terry and I will
Stiles.
be... Oh, you're supposed to do that part.
I'm Terry Stiles. Have a safe week.
Enjoy your day.